Hello everyone, this is Colton with POSguides.com, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of a different video here. We get calls from customers all the time who will buy a scanner off of Amazon for like 30, 40, 50 bucks thinking that they're getting a good deal. Something will be wrong with it and they'll give us a call asking for our help. And in those situations, there's not much we can do about it because we don't sell the scanner. We don't know it too much. So I thought it would be really cool today to make a video testing out some of these Amazon scanners and seeing how they stack up. I've picked a couple here that I found to be pretty clear knockoffs of existing models. So we have like a Honeywell HF680 and its counterpart. We have a Genesis XP7680G with its counterpart, and then we have a 1990i, all from Honeywell, and then its counterpart right here. So we're gonna go and run a couple tests here, put them through the ringer, so to speak, and see how they stack up when compared to the real deal. All right, so I plugged in the first set of units here, and we're gonna take a look. The first is gonna be the HF680 and its knockoff comparison. These are both presentation scanners here, and I think I bought this guy for about $40. So we're gonna see how he stacks up here. I have a bunch of pre-printed codes that we're gonna go ahead and test out. But before we do, let's just take a second to appreciate how closely these things look. And kind of just take a look at the difference here. Just taking a look, you can tell that the Honeywell is definitely a little bit of a better build quality overall. It's hard to take a look at the inside there without getting blasted. But you can kind of see just even the little red lights here, the little lighter array, is just a little more premium, I would say. But of course, looks aren't everything. It's really all about how well they work. So let's throw out a couple barcodes here. We're just going to start with two pretty large code 128 and UPC codes. Any good barcode scanner should be able to read these with no issue. So we'll start off with the Honeywell. Pretty standard. And the code 128. Yeah, pretty snappy on that. And this guy, oh, well, it's definitely getting it there. Yeah, the Honeywell is definitely picking it up a little bit better. It still scans though, and it looks like from a distance perspective, let's see how far we're getting. I'll turn the angle so the side camera here can get a better idea of depth. This guy, okay, so the Honeywell is going out about, I'd say almost about 12 inches here. And this guy, when it does, I would say I'm getting on average about six inches there. So the Honeywell, even with the larger barcodes, is definitely seeming to perform better on that front. Let's take a look at this really tiny code 128. Sometimes these smaller barcodes can give scanners a little bit of trouble. So we'll start with the Honeywell. Seems to pick it up pretty well. And this guy, yeah, I'm not seeing it working there. Okay, well, that's a pretty clear-cut case on that. I'll flip it over, slightly larger barcode, but this time I've drawn some lines through it. Both scanners are advertised as being able to really easily read damaged barcodes, something kind of like this with its crossed out. So we'll take a shot at this. Yep, no problem on that. And this guy, okay. Definitely does pick it up here, but it does take it a little bit. So I would say when it's working, it's probably about the same. But it does definitely struggle a little bit in a way that the Honeywell doesn't seem to struggle as much with. Finally, I'll wrap off here with two different types of 2D codes. We have a QR code and then a PDF 417 here. Both pretty standard. You see those a lot. And the Honeywell seems to be picking this up. And this guy seems to be performing about the same. So in that regard, they're a little more stacked up. Oh, we trucking there. All right. Yep. So, the scan results on that are pretty evident. The Honeywell definitely has a little bit of an advantage. One test that I did want to check on here that I'm going to pull out. So a lot of these scanners, what they'll have is they'll have a double read protection. And essentially what that does is that it sets parameters in place so that it won't double scan the same barcode a lot. And so this is really handy if you're trying to do precision scanning on a package that has like 5 different barcodes, and you're trying to manually kind of aim that and be really precise. So a good way to test that is to have 2 different barcodes kind of lined up like this. Throw it on the screen there. And then just hold them next to each other and see what it does. So if it's working right, it should only be able to pick up 1. Oh. All right, so this definitely doesn't have it. That's a good way of picking that out. So you see how this guy picks up 1 at a time. Seems to be having a preference for the bottom one here as opposed to the code 128. So that's interesting. What if I try flipping places here? I'm just curious. There you go. Yeah, so it seems to be picking up the bottom one more than the top. But in any case, it's definitely not doing what this guy is doing, where it's just blazing through and back and forth. So that's something to consider. I was not expecting it to be that aggressive. It would be even worse if we did something like a roll here that has a ton of them. It's really evident. You could just, yeah, it'll just blast and go forever. So that might be something that you want to consider. Finally, there's one last test that I wanted to check on and take a look at, and that's going to be motion tolerance, because that's really big for these kind of presentation scanners. So I'm going to pull out my big old fancy spooling machine here, pop it on the table, came unplugged, plug this back in, and kind of get an idea of what the motion tolerance is like on these, because that's a really big deal. For sure, there we go, pop this all in. So now we should be able to turn this on. Beautiful, it's already going, look at that. So we'll set it up here, give it a good bit of speed, and now, let's test this out. Let's see here. All right, so it's reading it slowly. And I've done a video on this before, and I'll pop it on the screen now. And it definitely struggled with the motion tolerance before. So this is something that I was totally expecting. It's not the best. Yeah, it's struggling. Let's try this guy here. Oh, all right. This guy is definitely doing way better in that regard. So that's something to consider. Boop. Okay, yeah, that's a pretty clear-cut shot. To my surprise, this guy, the knockoff, is definitely performing better in that test. I'm not sure if it comes down to the programming settings on these. They both should be set at factory default. So there's definitely some programming codes you might be able to get on the Honeywell that'll speed that up a little bit, reduce some of that delay. And probably do the same thing with this to slow it down a little bit if you needed it for some reason. But yeah, so that's that. I would say motion tolerance wise, this guy definitely has the advantage, but overall, just general scanning performance, the Honeywell model, I'm gonna have to give it the win on that one. So yeah, let me clean up this mess here, and we'll transition on to the next unit. Let me just do a little. All right, so we got the next 2 scanners plugged in here. We have the Genesis and its knockoff counterpart here. And first things first, the thing that's most immediately blaring to me, this guy has the brightest scan, or the brightest light I have ever seen on a barcode scanner. I was kind of looking at it and it caught my eyes, and I'm still getting like the little blind spots that you get at when you look at the sun or something. This thing is crazy. So if you have this, I need to check to see, and I'll update the video here later with a footnote if you can turn down the brightness on this. But this thing is insane. If you have this out on a counter, you're going to blind your customers. Compare that to this guy. Just, you can definitely tell the difference there. It's night and day. Jesus, I'm looking at it again. They both have little buttons on the top here, so you can manually scan if you want. This guy makes a cute little noise when you do it. But otherwise, just looking at form factor on these particular units, this guy's kind of thick. He is pretty bulky. Definitely the Genesis is going to look way sleeker in this regard, but again, looks aren't everything. Let's break it down and put it to the test with the scan test here. Pulling back up our trusty big codes here. Move this in better position so you can see. Let's start with the UPC. Easy. On this guy, oh, struggling a little bit. There we go. Yeah, Okay, so we're kind of seeing the same thing. The Genesis is definitely the winner in that regard. If you have, maybe let's try alternating codes. See if that helps. Nope. Yeah, okay. This is a pretty clear-cut case. Way easier to see than the HF680. I think I bought this guy for like 40 bucks. So, you know, just getting an idea of the cost point on that. Even these bigger codes, this thing is struggling. I dare to even try with the smaller code here. Let's see. Yeah, okay. I'm not even getting it to read the smaller code. Let's try damage barcodes. Oh, there you go. Got it there. All right. Okay. I want to try the smaller code again to see if I can get it. Okay, yeah, I'm not going to waste your time there. If it can scan it, it's not going to be easy. And it's definitely, you're not going to want that for any sort of quick scanning experience on a line. Let's try the QR codes and the stacked code one more time. QR code, straightforward. Oh, there you go. Wow, way out here. Okay. All right. Yeah, just more of the same. It scans eventually, but not with any sort of frequency. Probably because this thing is so bright. It's probably just washing out the code, I would think. That is insane. Wow. I was not expecting it to go quite like that. To be quite as bad as it was. Just for fun, we'll pull out the old spindle machine here, pop it on. Just to see what I can get this thing to do. I'll probably turn it on here. There we go. Yeah, okay. So this thing advertises as having a really fast motion tolerance, so gonna perform way better than HF680, of course. Try this guy. All right, it's getting there. It's only reading the one type of code. I have two different alternating codes here, and it's only reading the one, while this guy was alternating back and forth. Oh, there you go. It finally scanned the other one. Yeah, it seems to be getting it, at least the one. But this is a pretty clear-cut case as well. So stopping that here. Oh, jeez. we're getting too excited here. Yeah, pretty clear-cut case on that one. This definitely has the advantage compared to this guy here. And if I keep it on anymore, I am going to go blind. So I'll just... There we go. Probably burned out the sensor or the light sensor on my other camera. We're doing great. All right. So rounding off our review here, I have the final scanner on the list, and this is going to be a 1990i from Honeywell. This is the long-range model. Just did a video on it, so you can pop that on the screen now so you can take a look. And we're going to be comparing it to its Amazon knockoff here. So first things first, just kind of taking a look. These both claim to be industrial scanners, so they're supposed to be able to stack up, just be really rugged. So I'll do a durability comparison later. I already did one on this guy, but I want to do one on this just to get an idea here. So the first thing I'm noticing, this just connects with the standard USB-C cable right here. I'll pop it on there. It just kind of unplugs and replugs. So I'll unplug it there, pull it on. It's really easy. It'll pop back on a second, hopefully. But if you compare on this scanner here, it's screwed in this way. It has like a special metal clamp. I don't know if you can see there, but you can pull on this all you want. It's not going anywhere. It's stuck in there. And that's supposed to be that if you drop it or something, it's not going to pull out of the plug. It's really going to stay secure. I'd be worried with this, if you just drop it or if the cable gets yanked, it's going to get pulled out and go all over the place. So it's weird that they would do that on an industrial scanner. It does come with the Bluetooth dongle. I'm not going to test it out today. I imagine it performs like any other Bluetooth dongle does. So I'll just be testing the corded version of this today. When you order it, it comes with a fancy plastic stand. It looks like it's supposed to move and kind of pull up, but I have not been able to make it do it thus far, and I'm worried I'm going to break it. So, you get a stand. It sits there and looks nice in that regard. But let's get down to the business. Let's get down to the fun part here. Let's look at scan performance. So standard UPC code. I'm gonna lay out a couple different ones here. This is not a presentation scanner, so you're gonna actually want to hold it with a hand, pop it on there, and all right. All right, yep, so that's definitely performing better. There is a delay on this for sure compared to this guy where it's super snappy. This is advertised as being a long-range model as well, so theoretically, you're supposed to be able to get a pretty substantial distance, but I'm having it struggle over 2 feet. In comparison, this guy here is good for about 25 feet in our test, maybe a little bit more on a good day. So you could check the footage on the video that I linked previously. You can see the whole thing on that. But yeah, the guy is not doing very good with the smaller barcode. It's doing its thing. It's yeah, not very good. Let's try these QR codes here. It's definitely going, but definitely not as snappy. This guy can go for days. Just the trigger things too, just as I'm using these, the trigger on this guy is really responsive. It just feels nice in your hands. This feels a little stiff. So yeah, there's that. I'm trying to like scan it here and be a little quick with the reticule. Definitely takes a little while to go when you're swiping it fast. So another clear-cut case of these things, just the difference in cost. I forget exactly how much I paid for this. I'll pop it up on the screen right now. But yeah, I mean, it's a clear-cut case if you pay for what you get on these sorts of things. I think that's a pretty crystal clear endeavor. Let's try to break this thing. I'm really excited to do this here. I'm gonna transition my screen, pop you on over here, and let's do a quick little drop test. I'm gonna drop both of these from the same distance and see, because it's a rugged scanner, so you're supposed to be able to drop this thing and it's supposed to be able to take a beating. So we'll see what happens. All right, so we're back here now. We're gonna go ahead. Like I said, I've dropped this a couple times, about 5 times each, same distance, probably about 5 feet, roughly. And then I threw them at the ground kind of hard just to see. And let's see here. All right, well, they both work. They both work at least. So it survived the gauntlet here. I'm sure I could throw this thing harder and get some better results there, but I don't want to try to force anything that's not there. So yeah, I mean, from an initial standpoint, it survived 5 drops and then a little bit of a chuck. This guy did it as well. I could try dropping this thing from 9 feet, the same that I did with this one in a previous test. I could if I wanted to. Probably not going to do that here, just because from scanning alone, this is definitely a better unit overall. So yeah, that'll wrap up that test there. So thank you all so much for chalking. This was a lot, or for tuning in to us. This was definitely a fun one. Don't do videos like this very often, so it's fun to chuck a couple things around and kind of see what the hype is all about with these Amazon scanners. And you know what? They don't pass the test. If you're looking for like really low volume, big barcodes, you might be able to get away with it. But if you need anything at all, especially support, I would definitely go with a name brand scanner. There's somebody like us who supports what we sell. The big thing that you're going to find with these Amazon scanners and what we've run into with customers is that they'll order these things. Something's not right on them. They need it to do something. They need to like program a thing in a particular way, and there's nothing we can do to help them. And they can call whoever they want, whatever knockoff third-party company from overseas developed and is marketing this thing, and they're not going to get any support. And we see that every day. So, you pay for what you pay for what you get is basically what it comes down to on these things. So I appreciate you tuning in. with me and taking a look here, and I hope that if you are thinking about buying an Amazon scanner, you'll think twice at least. It's worth it in the end to invest the money, buy a good product with a good support team behind it, who can make sure that you have something that works really well for years to come. So with that, I'll let you all go, but I appreciate your time. Take care, everybody.